Yeah, I thought we did a good job of protecting. We obviously knew how we did their pass rush was, and I thought the guys up front did a great job communicating and talking all day. We definitely left a lot of plays out there, especially in the second half. But I thought there was a lot of good things that we did offensively in the first half.
How impressive was Trey's performance against going up against Max? Obviously, a bunch of help out there with Will and different shifts, but just the way he played in the game, keeping protected.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have him. To have Joe go to left and then have a guy like Pip who's seen so many games, so many fronts, and has a ton of game experience to be able to throw him out there at right tackle. I thought he did an incredible job. He's done a great job, ever since he's been here. And I'm really glad to have him on the team as well.
Sounds like Khalil's injury isn't maybe as gruesome as it looked. A little bit of relief that it's not going to end the season for him.
Yeah, it's I haven't really talked much with him. That'd probably be a better question for him. But if that's what you're saying and that's the report, then it's definitely good to hear.
The run you had on the last drive looked like your knee kind of got caught in the slide. Any lingering effects from that play at all for you, health wise?
No, just a little cut, but
A little.
no, I tried to get my leg out and I felt like I got tackled and wasn't able to get my leg out, but I was fine. I'm a better slider than that, so that part was disappointing, but yeah, you didn't learn.
Harkening back to some of your baseball days.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just a weird play.
Yeah.
Had to save downs. Wanted to make sure that I got down. And, I can do a better job sliding and make sure that my leg's not even in any danger there.
Justin, how much is a relief finally playing a home opener? Back here at SoFi this weekend with fans being able to see what you guys are all about.
Yeah, it's great. We always enjoy playing SoFi. We have such a great fan base and definitely a great environment to play in. We're definitely looking forward to it. But I think it's been great the past couple of weeks to go play. It's challenges, opportunities for us to go play on the road and to be the team that we want to be. We need to go play and win games like that. But to stay at home and winning some of the travel, it's always good for us.
Obviously, early in the season, and I know you guys are always going to take it game by game, but right now you're alone in first place. First time for you and the team since week 5 of 2021. Is there any significance to that for you guys in the locker room, just to be back in that spot, to in a division that you obviously battle every year with the Chiefs and the rest of these teams?
Yeah, I think it's always important to be in the conversation, and we truly do take it week by week, like you said. But to be in the conversation, to be competing for a spot like that is our goal, is to be able to understand that it's a really long season, and we got to do our best to take it week by week, never look too far ahead, never look back, and as long as we're doing everything we can, listening to Coach Harbaugh, and taking care of business, you just got to trust the process and see where you end up.
You've been impressed with the wide receivers, from top to bottom, like leading the different categories. You've just been impressed with their performance so far.
Yeah, what category?
Just like multiple categories, I think receiving yards, reception, something else from top to bottom. A few categories, you guys are number one and like third and fifth wide receiver group as a whole. Just have you been impressed with their performance?
Yeah, I think they've done a great job. Ever since OTAs, we knew it was going to be a special group, and I think they're really deep and understand that we got a lot of guys competing in that room, pushing each other and holding each other accountable. It's a really well-coached group as well, and they listen, they work hard, and they're great teams as well.
For Q, he's a guy you've always preached, his talent and your faith in. Is it fulfilling to see the way he's performed through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I think he's made a bunch of plays over the past 3 years. It started in camp. He came back and he's having fun. He's confident. He's playing with a lot of juice. And to have a guy like that out there, all I got to do is get him the ball, and something good's gonna happen. And we saw that on the 60-yard play. He runs a great route. He's fast, tough to cover, and he goes up there and makes plays.
And are you gonna wear lenses on Sunday or game time decision?
We'll see. Yeah, something to communicate about.
You guys have been really good against the blitz so far this year, both in terms of like your efficiency and the way that you guys have protected. Specifically, like against zero looks, 8 of 9, only had 1 incompletion. What do you think has contributed to some improvement for you guys when facing blitz looks, specifically like zero looks this season?
Yeah, I think a lot of things go into. I think going into year 2 of the offense, and for the most part having the same offensive line, it starts with Brad Roseman and understanding, seeing some of those fronts and communicating, and just doing a good job of knowing the protections where we've got multiple protections called and getting to the right one. And then I would say it comes with a lot of film watching. The offensive staff have done a great job of getting us into and keeping up with those and all the different looks that we can get from defenses, and just going out there and executing, and having tight ends and running backs who are able to pick up defenders, key into the protections, because that's often overlooked by those guys, but they've been so steady and really figured it out.
We talked to Greg last week about the amount of work that you guys put into this specific phase of the offense, identifying blitzes, stunts, picking them up, and he said like that work in the offseason, is paying dividends now. Just from your experience through that, like how much work did you guys put in as a group in terms of, figuring out the best way to sort of approach your blitz pickups as a unit?
Yeah, I think it starts with last year and going back and watching all the clips that we've had last year, protections that we picked up, ones that we missed, or ones that I could have changed, and just seeing what we could do better. And you go out there and you feel comfortable and you know exactly what you're doing. It's so much easier. And I think that's what's been so great about having Bose is just all the fronts and defenses that he's seen. It makes it so easy for us to just get up to the line of scrimmage, move quickly, use our cadence as a weapon, and ID the fronts.
How much of a factor is just having more options, like to get rid of the ball quickly in some of those situations where they're bringing a lot of players and you can get rid of it under 2 seconds because you have Keenan and Ladd and these guys that are able to sort of find space underneath?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things that Coach Rowan has done as well. Is there's multiple ways of beating the blitz, and it's blocking it or getting the ball out quickly. And I think whether you got 2 of those options, as long as you got one of them called, you're gonna do well. And I think that's where we've done a great job of picking up. Is we have both of those options, and we're not always relying on blocking it up or always just getting the ball out quickly. So it's another way to defeat those blitzes. And as long as we're doing our best communicating, I think that we're able to handle whatever we can see, but just keep working on it for sure.
Obviously, I know the Denver defense well, playing twice a year. When you look at this year's group, what's the biggest challenge with that unit?
Yeah, they're very talented. They're a really good defense. They're never really out of place. They've added a few pieces this year, and those guys have had huge roles in other teams. And you watch them. They're really well coached. They fly around. They're fast, and they get after the passer. I think they're leading the league in sacks. So that's definitely something to be aware of.
What did you see from the run game when you watched it back on film?
Of our run game.
Yeah.
Room for improvement, things that we can, always work on. I can do a better job carrying out my fades and being more involved in the run game. And there's certain looks that, we'd love to have back, but I think up front those guys have battled. They've done a great job. It was a really good front seven that we were going up against. But there's always room for improvement, whether it's pass game or run game. I think we can always get better.
The 4th and 1 that you guys had on the jet sweep, we talked to Jim earlier today, and he sort of mentioned that he was a little bit late in terms of like making the decision. He felt like that might have thrown off the execution at all. Did you feel that way at all? That the decision, as far as like, we're going for it, might have come in a little bit late, and that sped things up at all for you guys?
Yeah, unfortunately we had a shift in motion, and so we kind of had to skip through that, and we got the play, and I was trying to scramble, and I saw the play clock going down, so I tried to get the play in as best as I could, and that's one of those things where maybe I just have to understand, calling the timeout or taking the delays better than scrambling and trying to make a play work like that.
He took responsibility just earlier today with us. Yeah.
Well, it's on me too.
Yeah.
I'm the one, So it's definitely something that we can both learn from. We talked about that as well after the game. He said the same thing to me, but I mentioned it too. It's like I could have done things differently as well.
Right. And then the play before that, tried to hit Keenan sort of off script there. Linebacker jumped it. Just what did you see on that play?
Yeah, they had things covered up.
Yeah.
Tried to didn't have a whole lot of pressure. I think the offensive line gave me a bunch of time and just tried to make something happen downfield. But they had it covered. I wish I would have thrown the ball a little bit further out, but just one of those plays that they got us.
And just in play action, you're completing like 80% of your passes at 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, what do you think about
think it starts with a good run game. Understanding that the run game is going to open up those plays for us, and as long as we're running the ball well and having guys on the outside making plays, especially the offensive line giving me enough time off of those run looks. I think that's when we're at our best, when we're able to do all three phases, whether it's run, pass, or play action.
Just one more question on the zero stuff. You had like 11 dropbacks against it so far this year. Some of that is probably related to like the defenses you're playing. Last year, the Chiefs and the Raiders were both in the top three. Assume you're going to see a bunch again this week with the Broncos because they're running a bunch of zero. Last year, when you're facing a lot of that, how much do you attribute to, okay, like this is what the defense does, this is like their identity, and how much of it is like the teams trying to test out your offense and like you have to perform against it in order to show teams that they sort of can?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think if you put something on tape where a defense gets you or beats you, I think you're going to see more often in the coming weeks. And so, likewise, if you end up beating it a couple times, you might not expect it as much. And then game plan wise, a team generally runs what they run, so you have to be prepared with certain teams of what they're going to bring. And I think the Broncos have done a really good job mixing, those blitz looks in where you might not be expecting it, but it's second down, third down. They'll be able to throw it at you as long as you're communicating, seeing it, doing your best, and reacting quickly, because sometimes you might not always see it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.